Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Whole different schedule. Gonna throw some of you off. So, first off, it is 7 o'clock, and this is way earlier than I start. It's Vicki Booten. If you're new here, welcome. If you are a regular and you are catching this recorded or late, you aren't late. I'm just early because I'm actually involved with an event this weekend, so they are going live at 8. So I thought I'd rather get something in here rather than nothing. So we're going to do part two parts. Today will be part one, where we're going to do a really fun, quick technique that requires some marinating. And then I'm going to come back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. and do our regular Friday Night Live, but on Saturday. So I thought I better come in here and talk to my friends. They're going to be like, what happened to Vicki? Why isn't she here? She's always here on Friday. So hello, friends. I'm squeezing something in quickly. It's going to be fun. I did a couple quick options with this tonight. So before we got started, you could see exactly what's happening. So it will be a quick one tonight. Yes, do you like my, oops, I'm going the wrong way. It's always backwards. But that's set up for my Crop and Crate card making event. I'm making cards this weekend. But I thought I would pop on. And for some of you guys, this is pregame, right? Before you go and get to visit with Catherine and Jen. So I thought I would pop in tonight just because I would miss you otherwise and do a quick technique that you need to let sit. And then it'll be ready for tomorrow. And I have a really fun idea. So I'm not going to talk for long. I'm going to flip the camera around, but a couple things I want to share, because if you're a regular here, it is like things I need to discuss. It's like the minutes of the meeting I'm going to cover first. So remember last week, I was so excited because I'm going to get a couple of the Warm Wishes kits out. So Rich went, remember I said he is collating the green cardstock. He's getting it ready. And I go up there to check it in the morning. And I guess he thought it would be okay, but a quarter of it was completely rippled and garbage. So literally, I think 685 sheets or something, because there's a lot of the green cardstock in every kit, was garbage. So I'm going to add it into random kits just because you could die cut or whatever out of it. But that's one thing with the week that hasn't been the sunshiniest of weeks. So now everything is ready to go. I am having the cardstock sent directly here, and I will be starting shipping next week. So I'm going to work on the kit all weekend. So get ready for some sneak peeks I'm going to share. But seriously, I said, like, I went up there and I looked at it and I said to myself, seriously? That's what I felt like. Seriously? Like, how is that even possible? Like, everything, it seems like when things just can't come together, but we will always push through because it's what we do, right? So, hi, Glenda, your daughters are doing, I know, I saw that. The one daughter had posted. That is so exciting that they're doing the card event with you. Ola from Puerto Rico, Maria. Hi, Yana. Oh, so many. Karen. Hi, Karen. It is. Hi, Tammy. Super frustrating because it's all like everything that you think, like, I'm good, like they're all kitted, they're ready, they're big kits. You know, my kits have tons of product in it. So it is a huge job to kit 32 pieces of paper plus cardstock plus all the embellishments. And then there's bonus, like there's some gold doilies and some ribbons and my mom and dad. So, you know, the whole family has had a hand in this. So my mom and dad kitted all of the ribbon and everything. It's so fun. So it's coming. We're good. We should be on time. Here's what I'm going to ask you, and I will send a newsletter. If you sent me any kind of special request for the kit, like somebody is out of town, so they're like, can mine please go out in the first batch because I need it, send me an email to vickybootenkits@gmail.com. So if there was like, make sure you condense these two orders, or I ordered with my friend, I need any kind of special instruction will be super helpful. So I don't have to dig 2 months back to find the email, but don't do it through my website, because on top of that, guess what? my computer desktop totally crashed. So the new one arrives on Monday, but that means vickybootenkits@gmail.com is the easiest email. If there's anything I'm owing you or that I've missed, email me. I'm going to be looking at that and doing a spreadsheet this weekend. So, and you'll start seeing notification come through that your kit is shipping. It won't be in the mail yet, but I'm going to be processing all of the shipping. Okay, so be watching for that. They're going to be coming through. So it's very exciting. It's coming. It's going to be a fabulous weekend. There are very, very few kits left. Like, it has sold out faster than I thought it would, because I thought once I made the project, I could put a couple extra kits, but they're going to be very few. So if you've been on the fence with wanting to do that Christmas class, just check it out. There's very few left. And then all of you guys are asking about Fernwood. And if you're not sure, what is Fernwood, Vicky? Here's a box of the cards so I can show you what Fernwood is all about. Because I know some of you are like, I'm not doing Christmas. My friend Karen came. She goes, I want Fernwood. So it will be coming as soon as I start processing. But look at it. So if this is your jam, this is what Fernwood looks like. Here is another one. Look at Natalie will love that. And this is a card set for Fernwood. I did get some samples in, so we're going to do a Fernwood walkthrough. But that is Fernwood. So weekend event is going to go up for sale after I get a chunk of the Warm Wishes done. It will be pretty much the same thing as Warm Wishes. It's going to be in the new year, though, so it can be a perfect thing for us to look forward to and a perfect Christmas gift or birthday gift or gift to yourself. And as well, gel plate too. So I'm not going to talk a lot about that because I said tonight, let's just do the things. But the Fernwood weekend, I've had lots of emails saying, Vicky, I haven't heard anything. Are you doing something with it? Yes, all the paper is actually here in my house. All the paper has arrived. All the embellishments are stuck on a boat like everybody else's stuff. Like if you can't get your favorite toothpaste, it's all stuck on a boat waiting to come into the US, and then it will come here. So projected date for that isn't till the end of October. Probably I'm hoping, or not hoping, I'm thinking early November it'll arrive here, and then we'll start with that one as well. So all of it's coming, and then gel plate 2, which will be in the new year. So it's another Christmas option if you have somebody who maybe your 25-year-old son is like, Mom, what can I get you for Christmas? And you're like, hey, I would love this. Just sign me up for this class. So whatever you're looking for, it's all coming. I haven't looked at comments, but hopefully I'm covering the things. So just to let you know, for the Christmas class, the Warm Wishes, we're going to make an album, which is an exclusive album with that collection. We're going to make layouts and we're going to make cards. I think moving forward, would you guys like that with every single one? You know how I do a bonus class? I only say I'm doing 2, but I always give you more. I think one of them will be a card portion of that because I'm really digging the card making. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you have any questions or concerns, email me at vickybootenkits@gmail.com. And otherwise, let's get started. I'm flipping the camera and we're getting right into the things tonight. So if I've missed a comment or anything, just let me know. And I will catch up now. I'll catch up, I promise. Crazy times. So on top of the things that have been going on, do you want a fun thing? I was sitting in my kitchen eating my lunch today, and I hear a hissing sound. And I'm like, that's weird. It sounds almost like when the Instapot is like just the pressure is just going into the Instapot. I'm like, what the heck is that noise? And it turns out that the water line on my fridge had popped a little hole and water was spraying all over my kitchen. So that happened to me today. So it's one of those days. Do you have one of those days where you're like, I'm just ready for bed? That's what I feel like, right? I am just ready for bed. Question, who won the card? I don't remember what the name was, but it's posted on last week's YouTube. And she reached out to me, and it's going in the mail. I have actually a bunch of things to post, and I will be doing that. So yay! She did. Whoever won it, Karen, what my memory is like. And yes, Irene's getting her new puppy. How exciting is that? But you know what my mind is like, and I can't remember any of the things. So, yes, it is posted. So I did draw the name. I am on the ball for that one, because a lot of times you guys ask because you're like, did you forget? And I'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot. But I did. Drew the name. I did drew the name. Hello, Melissa from New Zealand. How you guys doing in New Zealand? And I see some Australians are on here. Hi, Paula. Hi, Lisa. Okay. So this is what my plan is for tonight. I want to create a background, and we're going to talk about what happened here as I did some practice and some work to test this technique, because I thought it would be a fun idea. So this is the one I'm super digging. And then I have cardstock for the one we'll do together. So this one is with Distress ink, which is dye based. And the colors that I used on this one were Prize Ribbon and Selvage Patina, because I am thinking it would be really fun to put gold accents all over this. So with that being said, you could do what we're going to do tomorrow, because there's 2 parts to this live. Tomorrow will be regular at 8 o'clock, and we're going to just make a layout and card. And this will be the base. So the base for your card, you can shrink it down. You could do it large like this and just cut your card base out of it. Whatever you want to do, totally up to you. So this is using dye base, and this is my preference, and I'll tell you why in a second. So this background was dye based. This background is with oxide, which has a chalkier finish. And I actually used 3 colors on here, even though you can't really tell. So what I think you guys should do for homework, because I'm not going to be on here with you for a long time tonight, is try a couple of different things, right? Try it with just oxide, try it with just dye base. So oxide with regular distress, and why not try one with both? But with that being said, I will preface that with use the darker color of regular distress ink with a lighter oxide, because you want the dye properties of this ink to work with this. So really, if you come out with 3 different backgrounds tonight, will be awesome. And I did say that you want this to marinate, because we're using so much water, and then we're going to place the stencil right into it, that you want it to just sit there. You don't disturb it after the stencil's placed. And I thought this is perfect tonight, because we can have that all ready for tomorrow. So that is the plan for tonight. Any questions before I get started? Yes, I think Kari's talking about the cruise. I booked mine as well. So I'm teaching on them, and I actually booked my rooms for, I'm teaching through Cruise and Crop. If it's something you think you'd be interested. There's one in June that is out of England going to Spain and France. And there's one in October out of Texas that is doing the Caribbean. And there are some really, really great rates right now. So if it's something you've always wanted to do and thinking about, check it out, right? Where do I get the stencils? So the stencils I'm using tonight are 12 by 12. They're Crafters Workshop. I ordered a whole case of them. I have a whole box of stencils out there that I need to get up in my shop. I might work on that a little bit tomorrow. I'll send a newsletter out. So make sure that you're signed up for my newsletter on vickybooten.com on my website. And like the star one will be there. It's 8.5 by 11. It's a Diane Reevely stencil. And then anything that I could find after the gel plate class in the 12 by 12 size. I have a whole whack of stuff. I ordered a whole bunch of 49th and Market, a whole bunch of stuff. So maybe that will be my plan for tomorrow, is to get all of the things up on the website. But it's all crazy times, right? Off to look at the dates. Texas means hubby can come too. Yes, he can gamble and I can crop. I love it, Sherry. Yeah. So there is, that one is out of, where do we go out of Galveston? Okay. So tonight, what you want you decide, because maybe all you have is oxide ink, then that will be fine. If you have regular distress, I would recommend starting with that. And whatever color palette you're going to use for the background, because it's a wet technique and they're going to blend into each other, pick on the same side of the color wheel. So blues and greens, oranges and yellows, orange and pink, anything that only has two of the same primary colors. So this is blue and green. So you want to kind of stay in that kind of range, okay? I will put the cruise info into a newsletter. I'm going to send a separate one for that. And Karen said she wants 12 by 12 stencils. Love this background. Yeah, I have like this one for sure. Isn't it beautiful? I have that one in my stash. So I don't know if I have this one or not, but maybe I might have ordered it because this is a favorite of mine, but we'll see. I'll get them up there for you guys because, oh my goodness, right? It's just Vicky going crazy all the time. So tonight you need ink blending tools. I'm going in with traditional. I had done this first one, the floral one with the kissing technique. So the floral one, to see this one, I had kissed the ink on here and I loved what was happening, but it's very subtle. So I did the kissing technique, literally put ink onto a piece of plastic with water, kissed it onto the background. And that's how, when you see the next step, that was how the base of this one was done. And then both of these was ink blended onto the background. And then the technique I'm going to show you is next. So I found that it is more contrast with the blending. So I'm going to do that. And it's really random. And you don't have to have perfect blends, friends. Question. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow we're going to use these backgrounds and make a project. So these backgrounds are going to be turned into a stamp card and a layout. And we're going to do a part 2 where we're going to do some, either you can stamp and use gold embossing powder, or you can use the Vicky Bouton texture pastes. I'm going to use a combination of both. You could use the leaves. Wouldn't be the leaf die cut from last week? Wouldn't that be awesome in gold? So maybe I will prep a couple of those as well, but that's kind of the plan. Okay, so let's get started. And thank you already, guys, for everyone who comments and likes and does all of those things. Thank you so much. I love reading this stuff. I love to see it. I love the interaction. It makes me feel like I'm not here talking to myself, right? Tomorrow is World Card Making Day too, so that's perfect, right? Do you gesso foundations paper? No, not really ever, unless there's a technique I want, because these mediums like distress ink doesn't work super well on gesso. It kind of resists it. So you don't need to. It is so thick. Here's a fresh piece of foundations. Do you hear that? It is 140 pound weight. It will hold wet mediums. It already has like a almost like sealant on top of it. So you will see even tonight when you're playing, if you have 2 sheets, test on the front. That's why you never see me tear this piece off until I'm ready, because I can tell by feeling this what's the front and what's the back of foundations paper. The perforation is smooth on the front, and I can feel like a little bit of raised bumps on the back, because there is a slight difference between the front and the back. Okay. So yes, no, it is super awesome paper. That's why anybody who's been around for a while, you know, well, it's all I ever use is foundations. I love it. And I'm trying to work on something new for you guys. So that'll be exciting. But that's what the pad looks like if you're shopping online or at your favorite scrapbook store or craft store. Foundations paper looks like this. You get 12 sheets in a pad, 12 by 12. Okay. It's really awesome. If you're a Copic user, if you love to watercolor and like smooth watercolor paper, it's totally awesome. And I was talking to Adam today, and whoever won that prize, he sent me the name. I didn't memorize it, but I'm mailing that. That's happening this week. I pulled it all, Adam. It's all ready to go. So I am starting with Prize Ribbon Distress ink, and I'm going to deposit quite a bit of pigment here. So I'm going to go in here and just kind of start creating a background. Like I said, it does not have to be a perfect blend. If your blend doesn't look like has little edges and stuff, won't matter, because we're adding so much water on this, it will all go away. But what I do want you to do is get lots of pigment in there. I don't care if it's these little polka dots of pigment, but you want some areas that have a lot of ink on here, because then you get the most wow effect with this technique. So I am just randomly putting this darker blue down, and then I'll go in with the Selvage Patina. And only reason I pick these is that I think gold will look beautiful on this color background, this kind of like turquoise and almost navyish blue. Could you go in with other colors? Sure. I think that Blueprint Sketch would be beautiful. Whatever you want to use. Okay. No rules, no rhyme, no reason. And I'm going to go in because I'm using a 12 by 12 stencil. So I'm going to just randomly place my ink. If you only have, maybe your biggest is 8.5 by 11 or an 8 by 10, then even just ink one little side of it, kind of maybe mark how big your stencil is and keep your ink within that. If you only have 5 by 7s, then what I would do is just lay a couple of stencils on it when we do that part of the technique. Okay. Any questions? And hello, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Like I said, this is random. Vicky, do you prefer the dome or flat inkers? Love the dome. Like if you ask me comparatively, I would say like 98% better than the flat ink blending tool. Anybody else agree with me or disagree? Because you know I would love to hear, like if you think that I'm wrong and you actually much prefer. See, I'm even just pouncing some ink on there. Don't care, just want in some areas a lot of pigment. And then you can blend it a little bit. Doesn't matter. Look it, and I'll even show you. Polka dots aren't going to matter, especially on foundations paper. This might matter on the paper you're using, because if it's not foundations, you see what I'm saying? Like, did you see how I did this, but could blend that out? Because foundations has a coating on top of it. You couldn't do this with regular cardstock like that, right? I love the dome blending tools. And I purchased tons of it. So I have 2 blending tools going. I should have my Brienne Loveland ink stands out, because that would make it super helpful. But I'm just going to deposit now all over my page pigment. Okay, some light, some darker areas, some areas I'll blend the 2 colors. Do you see how beautifully ink blends on foundations paper? Do you see that? Look at going right in there and getting that secondary color. So it does, it is, helps you be successful. So I'm just going to put some color around, and you're going to see why. There'll be rhyme and reason. Okay. Getting tons of pigment on here because it's a wet technique, and I want this to float all over my page. Oops, see what I just did? Put it on the wrong ink pad. Now, thank goodness this is Distress ink and not oxide, because I would have contaminated my pad, because you cannot blend your same ink blending tool onto your oxide pads. It needs a new clean blender. So the reason that I like the dye base better is it's transparent, and it is going to look like an inked, bleeding ink technique. Like this whole thing is going to be like dye. We're almost doing like a dye based project here, right? So just get color deposited everywhere. Make sure there's lots of pigment in there. I'm going to leave this area up here. I want it only to be the selvage patina. And maybe down here, just selvage patina. And this can be your practice one. Like say you do this and you're like, okay, now that I've done it, I see what Vicky was going for, but I really kind of want to try it again. This is perfect for tonight. Go in and practice, but this is a wet technique. So as soon as we get our color down, we're going to do the next step. Okay. I like up in my corners to get some depth because it's going to kind of push out of the stencil. Okay. So blend that a little bit. Okay. So see what I'm saying? I just kind of made this random background of ink. What if you only have oxides? Use oxides, Darlene. If that's all you have, go for it. Okay. You will just see that it doesn't bleed the same because the ink has more opacity to it. So it doesn't mean it's not good. It's just different. Okay. So now I have a mister with lots of water in it. And I'm going to move this out of the way just so I can show you. I have a paper towel here. I'm just going to go with this stencil just because I like the small openings. But whatever you have, okay, friends, whatever you have, you can totally use it. So I have this one. It is Crafter's Workshop. And I am going to mist a ton of water on here. Right up into the edges. And then I'm going to lift it and I'm going to clean my mat off so I'm not setting my page into all that water, right? So I'm just going to wipe my desk now so my table is not wet. And now I'm going to take my background and I'm going to flip it and kiss it in there. And now start smooshing that water around. The other thing I'm going to do as well, like, ooh, look, it's so fun. Kind of press that out. And you can see where it's kind of wicking in there. Love it. I'm also going to, because it's not as wet as I would like in the middle, I'm going to get my brayer just so I can press it without putting my fingers in it. Okay. So if you have something, I'm going to brayer only because I want to make sure that that is fully in the ink. I want it to be kissing that background. Like whatever that science term is, that the suction is in there. So it did pull some of the blue through. I'm totally okay with that because guess what? We're still going to go in there and add some water because that's the magic with distress is it's water reactive, right? Any questions? Question. Where is the stencil available to purchase? Don't know yet, Jill. I don't know because this was like last minute. I wasn't even going to do a Friday Night Live tonight. So I literally just threw this together so we'd have something. But it is the Crafter's Workshop. And I will look and put up some of my share a sale links after. I'm not sure if this one is in the ones I will be posting on my site or not. But like I said, the stencil doesn't even matter. Any large stencil will work, okay? I'm going to go in now with some water. And I'm not going to put a ton in here, but I want a little bit of pooling action to go in some of these areas, okay? A little bit of pooling action. And I'm going to press and make sure my pigment is kind of moving around. So whatever stencil you're using, I'll do another one quickly. Not much though, because I still want that heavy contrast. And that's what I noticed. I added a little bit too much water the last time, okay? So let's do it with a different stencil. So now you can see it. So I am not lifting this stencil off until this background is dry. So that's the marinating part. Like pretty magic is going around in this corner. In these corners, I'm going to leave it totally to dry so that we can see what effect we're going to get. So I am going to pick this up gently and I'm going to move it. But you see my stencil suctioned right to there. So it's perfect. I'll just set it aside and let's see what we get when it dries. Why not put ink pad on the paper? Because then you will definitely get rectangles or squares of color, right? I still put it on with my ink blending tool. So let's grab another one. And do you guys want me to use a stencil like this? Because it gives you kind of a whole different look. And then I will even kind of plan out my pattern accordingly. Okay, I'll grab one more shade, a darker. I'm going to get a little bit darker blue. Let me see. We'll go with Blueprint Sketch too, okay? This will be fun, right? All the stencils I'm using tonight are the Crafter's Workshop. Like I said, I have a whole bunch I'm going to be putting in my website. And if this is something, if you think you would love some 12 by 12 stencils, I will order more. I have my account set up so I can order any Crafter's Workshop stencils. So if it's something and you're already putting in an order and you would like me to get more, I totally can do that. But like I said, if you have my stencils, the smaller ones, right? You can do exactly what we just did, just layering 2 stencils, right? You totally could use a 5x7. And if you're making a card, it's perfect for card making, right? So maybe I have some time. I will go and grab my 5x7 as well, and we'll do that. So let me show you. I'll do it because why not? I'll test it. I'll just put the ink pad right onto my background and let's see what happens. So maybe see what I'm doing? I'm moving it in a circle. So maybe like that, but do you see? You won't be able to control where you're putting the ink as much. But let's do this one. And I'll do this one maybe with the 5x7s, okay? So let's put that on here. It will be more blocks of color, but look, I'll try anything. Let's see what happens. I don't want to contaminate my pad too much, but let's do this. And then I'm going to blend still some of that lighter green in the middle. But see, this is the magic of foundations paper. You could not do this with most papers, but it's because it has that coating on here that we can totally go in here and still break up that color. I'm cleaning off my blending tool so I don't put all that dark ink into my pad. And I'm still going to go in with that flower stencil, I think, friends. But let's get some pigment in there around. Where's that one? Let's put some prize ribbon up beside Blueprint Sketch. Here's another thing you could do. Oops, I just contaminated. Oh, that's right. So let's see what happens on this one where I press the pad right into the thing. And here's another thing we can do. Watch, because we can do all the things because we're magic like that. Why don't I go right on here? Where's this going to go? Let's look. It's going to go here, right? So I still need some more pigment up in that corner. Let's see what happens when I'm going to take some yellow ink and highlight all the centers of my flowers. We'll put the ink on the stencil. Let's see what happens. Fossilized amber, because yellow and blue will make green, so I won't have dirt. Okay. So let's see what happens with this now. We're going to try something a little different. There does need to be a little bit more pigment on here though, because that stencil expands further than the other one did. So let's just make sure we have some color in there. Look at how rando this one is. Let's see what happens now. Here we go. tons of water. I'm going to mist it off the screen, but I'm misting the heck out of the stencil because there is not as much surface area. So I really have to get some water blowing around on here. And we're going to flip it right there. And I'm also going to brayer. Let's brayer it to make sure it's in contact. Where'd I put that? And we are also going to have to put some water in this one. If we do not, we're going to have all those heavy lines. So I need to get it moving around a little bit. Okay. Because the difference is this stencil does not have as much, let me think of the word I want to use, as much coverage as the circle stencil did, right? There's way more open space and I don't think it's moving. So do you see the difference now? Do you see the ink is not moving as much when we put it down on with the ink pads? So when we lift this, I think that you'll see what's going on. I'm not going to play with that too much though, because I'm really digging what's going on. But I do want to make sure it is in contact with the paper. And let's see what we get, right? Let's see what we get. And let's quickly do one more. And we'll use smaller stencils. So if that's what you guys have, that's what we can use. Okay, so I'm going to go grab them. So I cannot wait to see what we get with those two different ink applications. Don't you think it'll be interesting? It'll be interesting. Okay. So what do you think so far, friends? Okay, gonna have a drink. I'll be there, Debbie. That's why I'm quickly doing this before we get started. And then I will do more tomorrow night. There is a little bit of an overlap, but I will do my live tomorrow to finish up. So I just grabbed my stencils. So whatever you have, right? So what do you want? Something? I love the idea of this because look at all that open area. So we can do two things. We could see what will happen if I layer that on that in this technique. So I have an idea. Let's try. We're going to elevate it. And then whatever else you want to do. Let's do this. No, something different. Smaller circles. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay. So I'm just going to do two on here, and this will maybe be my card background. So I am going to deposit my ink. This time, again, I'm going to use the ink blending tool. I have 3 different colors here. I do need another foam. So here's a flat one for me to use. Oh, it's not. It's actually domed. And I wash them. So even though they have color on them, it is not actually purple. I just wash them and reuse them. You could put one with each one of your inks. I'm just not organized enough. So I don't do that. Where is the other ink? Do you see it? And I'm just losing my mind. Oh, right here, Vicky. You'll be okay. Maybe. So I'm going to start with my prize ribbon. So would you like me to do it with not a ton of pigment, like go very light on this so you can see? Or do you want me to use, because I already know, because I tested this, and I know the more pigment you get on here, the better the results. You just get a little bit more action. So with the movement of the stuff. So I was asking you, and then I'm like, I think I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to deposit that there. And over here, maybe on the outer edge. This one will be almost like making the rectangle shape of the stencil. And then depositing some color. So yes, I will put my links on in the description after for my share sale links, or the names of the stencils if I can find them. But it really, I know some of you guys, like, it has to be the same as what I'm using, but it really will be all right if it's not. It's the technique for tonight, and use whatever you have, right? Okay. Go in with some. For here, I'm going to salvage patina, the outer edge, kind of. Because these stencils might overlap a bit. But we'll just do whatever. I'm just kind of filling all in here in case it's not long enough. Okay, and I'm going to go in with some Blue Pen Sketch. Just for that deeper blue. Kind of purpley, right? And I'll leave some white this time in there too. Just so the color can kind of flow in there. Okay, I'm going to say it's good. Hi, Senna, how are you? Okay, so this is what we decided. I'm going to go with this open circle. I'm going to mist it. Tons of water, like dripping with water. I'm going to flip it in there and get it pressed in, marinating. Break up some of those circles on the outer edge. And now what I'm going to do is take the second stencil, mist it. Let's add some yellow on here in some of the areas too. Just quickly. Mist it. Let's press that in here. See what happens. It might work and it might not, but we'll try it because what have we got to lose? And see if that will eat into the ink on top of that or in that stencil. And I'll press into it with my fingers. It's water reactive, so it should do some interesting things. Let's see what happens there. Don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. Going to mist this one and press it into this side. Now this one, this is what I'm saying. There is lots of solid area in the stencil, so we should get some interesting results on this side. We'll brayer it again. And then we just have to see what happens. And I just shifted the stencil, so actually I think something cool's there going to happen there. It almost looks like a shifted, what do you call that? Like drop shadow, shifted drop shadow. So I'm just pressing that around. I want to move the water underneath. And we'll then just let it sit and marinate, see what we end up getting. But do press, like before the water soaks into the paper, do kind of squeeze it around and see what kind of result that will bring. And then we have to leave these. We don't lift it off, okay? We leave it to set. I'm going to just break up a little bit. Not a lot. I don't want a lot of water on here, but a little water marking because my blend wasn't super awesome. Okay. So what do we think, right? Fun. So one of these is going to end up being your favorite, or maybe they all will. I'm pressing my paper towel in there. Just want to make sure that yellow gets pressed in there. I think it's going to be awesome, friends. I can't wait to show you this one. Putting that second stencil that has lots of detail through the open area, I think will end up being cool. I can see it, so I already know it's going to be cool. So tonight, what do we have now? This is our prep work for tomorrow. we just did, and friends, keep doing it. Do it in a different color palette. This is going to be our base, and then we're going to stamp and do something really cool with gold. And I'm going to use embossing powder, gold embossing powder, and some type of ink that works, like, right, your Versamark, whatever you're going to use, and you'll need a heat gun, or you can use gold paint, whatever you have, okay? So this is foundations paper. That is one background that I think I'm going to cut out, and these are going to be 2 card fronts, because we could probably whip up for World Card Making Day 2 awesome cards. Look at this one. I think I could reveal this maybe already. Let's see. Look at, friends. How fun is that? I would say don't lift your backgrounds off just yet, though, okay? I'm going to put it back on there, and I might opt now. Look at, I might put more water on and see what will happen. I'm going to position it again, line up my stencil perfectly, and see what I get. I don't know if it'll move anymore because it's pretty darn wet, but we'll try it. And I'm just going to leave that to marinate. And then I have this one that I'm also leaving to marinate. We'll see what we get. We're going to get some quite the green in the background of this. Let me peek. Oh my gosh, this is going to blow your mind. Putting a color on your stencil, make sure you do one like that. That's going to blow your mind. This one, look at. Trust. Look at. I'm going to show you. Can you see that? Oh my goodness, I hope you can see that. Trust. Don't mess with it though. Leave it. Work on something else. But magic is going to happen here. And then we're going to use these backgrounds for something else. Awesome. It's going to be fun. Hi. So any questions about that? Trust, right? Just trust. So your idea tonight, all discombobulated, is I want you to do the backgrounds. And I don't care what kind of crafter you are. You do not have to be a scrapbooker to play tomorrow. If you want to make 15 cards out of 3 backgrounds, we totally could do that. So tonight, because I was only popping on because I have to leave, I have to go to the event that I'm involved with, which is a card making event. Isn't that fun? But I have now these backgrounds that are marinating, and fun things are going to happen. And I will be back here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time to do round 2, where we're going to make a layout and at least 1 card. So thank you so much. Any questions before I have to go? This is my fastest Friday Night Live ever. So if you have any questions, what time tomorrow? 8 p.m. Eastern time. So normal time. Are we good with 8 p.m.? Yes, I think 8 p.m. I could do it a little earlier if you want, but I think 8 is good. I think 8 will be good, right? And we will do part 2. And it will be fun, but your backgrounds will be ready. So instead of it being like a 5-hour Facebook Live, it will be much shorter. So what do you need tomorrow? Butterfly stamps, star stamps, flower stamp, just something that you can die cut or cut out and layer on this layout. And then you want cardstock or pattern paper that match whatever color palette you're using. Tomorrow is going to be gold. We're going to use gold. So that your color palette, you can use something that contrasts. Like I could put pink on here, a yellow, orange with gold. That could be really cool. You could use my stamp or die cut, cut file, the leaf cut file, and do the background that we're doing tomorrow with maybe word stamps, right? You could do all gold word stamps and then, or script, and then cut it out of leaves, and they could go all over your page, whatever you want. But tomorrow will be gold that goes on top of this blue, and I think it's going to be stunning. So that's my plan for tomorrow. And if you can't watch it live, it'll be recorded. You can join us whenever you want. If you have any questions, let me know. But otherwise, have a great evening, and thanks for this quick impromptu Friday Night Live. I'm sorry if you're catching it after the fact and you're like, where's Vicki at 8 o'clock? This was an earlier one tonight, okay? But thanks so much, friends, and I will see you tomorrow here on Facebook and YouTube at 8 p.m. to elevate these backgrounds that we're making. And I think you're going to be really super, super quick and fun technique, but you will be amazed with the results you're going to get. But don't be tempted to lift it. Let that stencil sit and let the water do its magic underneath and to dry and dye your background. So it's drying and it's dying with a Y, that background, okay? So do the things, and I will see you tomorrow, friends. Same bat place, same bat channel. Okay, see you guys later. Have a great Friday night, and I'll see you on Saturday tomorrow to finish this one off. Bye, guys.